Hey, Mike Crosby with Crosby Brothers Pool and Spa here again with another instructional video. With spring around the corner, we want to cover another common issue that some pool owners have. Here in front of me I have a customer who brought in a Hayward Super Pump to us that towards the tail end of the year had some other issues going on with it, but the pump was humming when he went to turn it on. Now when you first start up your pool in the spring, your pump above ground or in ground, some of the customers out there, they'll go to turn it on, it hums, not too sure what to do, we get the phone call or they come in. Well, before you just go buying a new pump or replacing it, let's go over two of the most common things that could cause this issue. And if it's one of those two things, you're going to save a whole lot of money versus paying for a new pump up front right now. So if we take a look at this super pump, I don't have this one plugged in, so I'm just going to show you here on the back of the motor what to do to check for these issues. So let's say this is your pump. You go to start your filter up in the spring and it's humming. Well, first thing I would do is check to see if it is seized. Now there's a couple different ways to do that. What I like to do is I'll take my 1/4-inch nut driver. On the back of the pump you're going to have two screws here holding the cover on. Now these screws, I've snapped these off before, especially on older pumps, so just work it back and forth gently and it should break it loose. If you do snap it off, you can take care of that, replace it, but I just like to warn people not just to crank on there and torque on it right away. Break it loose, then you can get your back cover to come off. So I've loosened these already. Once we take the back cover off, you're going to see you've got the internals of the back of your motor. Now, right away we can find out if it's seized. If you just check here, this is where your shaft is. You should be able to reach in here and see if this spins. There's even a spot you could take, a wrench, work it back and forth, or without loosening this screw here, there's a flathead spot just to see if that turns. But I just try to see if that's free. Move it back and forth, of course with the power off. If that spins freely and your pump still hums, next culprit, start capacitor. Start capacitor holds a charge to kind of kick the pump over when you first turn it on. So if this is bad, what's going to happen is your pump's just going to hum. Now another way you can check to see if that's the issue is, and most people don't go this far, so if you're uncomfortable doing this, don't do it. Just replace the capacitor and go from there. But sometimes you can actually, while it's humming, spin that shaft and you'll get the pump going. But that's not going to really solve your issue, so I would just replace the capacitor. So we're going to take our nut driver again, and there's usually a little bracket here holding the capacitor on. We can just loosen that or remove it. I'm just going to loosen it enough to swing that bracket out of the way. Then we have your capacitor with your leads here. Now just in case there's any charge left in this, extra precaution, if you just make contact with a screwdriver or something metal across these leads, it's going to discharge the capacitor. So now there's no charge in there. We can safely remove it. You can take your pair of needle nose, just remove these leads here. So you got your two yellow ones there and your red and white stripe one on the bottom. You can get your new capacitor, which if you have trouble finding these, you can contact us. We stock these at our store. We can mail them out to you, get it out to you right away. So if you have trouble finding them or identifying them, just take your old capacitor off. You can either take some images or contacting us with the information that's on your capacitor, and most likely we have it in stock here at the store, can send it right out. So we'll take your new capacitor, come back over. We can put just like how it was on the other one, put your one lead on the bottom here, your other two leads on top. So the capacitor's hooked up again. Slide the guard and a little sheath around it. Tighten your bracket. Last step is put your cover back on, tighten your bolts, fire your pump up. Problem fixed. Saved you hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I mean, you can go out and buy a brand new pump that's going to resolve that issue, but here's just some of the common issues with a pump humming where you can resolve it for under $30 and get many, many more years out of your pump. So again, I'm Mike Crosby with Crosby Brothers Pool and Spa, bringing you another instructional video. Look for us for more information and advice. Contact us for anything. We're happy to help. We'll see you next time.